Why, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Resonant Rise with me, Hexmore. And Cesrix is hopping around on the server somewhere at the moment. Say hello.
Hi.
There we go. Right. Now, I got a little bit adventurous between episodes. I was fiddling with some things and they weren't working, so I kept on fiddling with them, trying to make them work. And then I had done a lot of stuff while trying to figure out how it worked. I moved all of our machines upstairs and just put a nice little border around it. That's not the special thing that I done. I got into refined storage. I've never used refined storage before. So rather than just recording heaps of time of me crafting stuff like an idiot and not knowing how it worked, I thought I'll craft one of all of the basic controllers and some cable, and I'll get all the stuff together, and then I sort of realized that I don't know how any of it actually works, any of it plugs together. Um, so I started joining it all up together, figured out how it worked, and then I had a lot of stuff done. Not my best moment ever, but hey, I now have a refined storage system that is absolutely amazing, and now I'll show you how it works. So to start off with, the heart of the machine is this controller. It requires RF, which I've got coming from our capacitor. Now let's open up refined storage at refined. So our controller, a diamond, bit of enriched iron, some silicon, and a machine casing. Machine casing is the iron wrapped all the way around, and the enriched iron is some iron and some nether quartz. So powered from underneath, then everything in this mod has to either be touching one another to receive power, because this is technically using its own power source. It's using RS rather than RF. It is a 1-to-1 conversion ratio though between it, so 1 RS equals 1 RF. So that's fine. Or you can use the cable, which is what I've chosen to do instead. Now, once you've done that, there is two different ways of being able to store things. You can make these storage blocks, which I don't really like because they're a whole block. Or you can make a disk drive, which then can store multiple disks, which is the same as a storage block. There's really no difference between them. A little bit of extra resources, I suppose, for the disks, but it's like I can fit 2, 4, 6, 8 equivalency of blocks in the one block, so it's not taking up huge amounts of my base. Plus I get this nice little display that I can look at. Orange, I do believe, is full, but it could store a little bit more of certain things that it's already got, but it can't accept any new items. Blue is it's got room, and red is it's just absolutely full. You can't put anything else in it. So yeah, that's cool. So once you've got that, the first thing that you will then need is a grid, which I already got rid of my grid. I upgraded my grid to this crafting grid. But let's just start with the grid. Actually, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. You'll need a solderer first, my apologies, which is more enriched iron, some sticky pistons, and that gets you the solderer, which is this machine down the end. You can put 3 things in it vertically, and then you get 1 thing out. I've put some speed upgrades in it because it is a painfully slow machine. And so that will then allow you to get your grid. Well, you actually need the solderer before you even make the hard drive, because the hard drive requires the solderer. And your grid, which accesses your hard drives, is enriched iron, some of these processors. The construction processor is glowstone and a basic processor. Basic processor, silicon. Actually, there's a lot of processors. I don't think I will go over them all with you. If you're running this mod pack, you'll have JEI, and it is quite a rabbit warren to actually get started. Your basic ones that you'll need to begin with, though, are your printed, improved, printed, and your advanced. They are made with iron, gold, and diamond. You will also need a lot of silicon to make your printed silicon, and one of them with a piece of redstone and a silicon, printed silicon, makes you all of your more advanced cards, which is your basic, improved, and advanced. Then you can craft 2 extra ones, which is your construction with the basic and glowstone, and your destruction with the basic and nether quartz. There, I briefly skimmed over it. So that gets you your grid. Your grid is very similar to the crafting grid, but it is just a full screen all the way down to the bottom of what's in your storage system. It doesn't have this little crafting bit down the bottom. So I upgraded them to a crafting grid, which is a grid, advanced processor, and the crafting table. And now I can craft things in here. I can, say, click on something that actually requires a recipe, that. And if I shift click on that, it'll bring it up in here if I have the items. If I'm missing one of the items, it'll just have the space missing. So you need to go back, look at it and go, oh, I'm missing a book and quill. I'm actually amazed I had a book and quill. Right, so that is the very, very basic gist of how it works. Now, that is your grid and crafting grid and solderer. Now, this mod can also do auto crafting, which is why I decided to, rather than just move our RF tool storage up here, to actually create a new storage system. And I have moved all of our RF tool storage stuff up here, all the stuff we had in it. Now, for the auto crafting, you need a pattern grid, which is, where's the pattern grid? That's a very fine point. Where is the pattern grid? There's the pattern grid. You need a pattern, advanced processor, and a grid. Pattern is made with some glass, redstone, and more of the enriched iron. And you will also need a processing pattern encoder, which is this, which is just 2 more of those patterns. Machine casing, furnace, crafting table. Not too bad. Now, the way these work is if you make more of these patterns and just say, I want to create a crafting pattern for a sorting chest. I don't even know what a sorting chest is, but say I wanted to make it. I can then click that into here and that will create up the recipe. I can then click down onto that and I get a pattern for it. This pattern I can then put in a crafter, or if I decide I want to change my mind, shift right click on it, removes the pattern, and then I can use it again. Now, there are things that go into the solderer that it doesn't work. There's no option here. I can't just put the 3 items in there and get the output. So if I'm doing one of them, that's why I need this pattern encoder. I can then put 3 items in here manually and I can tell it what the output will be. If you get these wrong, all sorts of dramas can happen. You get too many resources out, not enough resources, your system can back up, and you are in all sorts of strife. Double check these always, that you are putting in the right quantity. Like if I click in here, it's putting in 14 because I'm carrying 14. So easy to do. If I right click, they go up, I left click, they go down. So easy to sort of have a stack and just go, oh yep, 1. Oh, 1. Oh no, no it's not. It doesn't match up. I've already done it. But yes, you have your pattern. Then you can make a crafter. This will allow you to auto craft things. So, enriched iron, machine casing, more of the cores. So, I've placed these around the back. Now, I have automated the making of all of my sort of chips already because they are so annoying to make. Now, I've pointed this crafter at the solderer. They have a face like this, and if that face is pushed up against something like the solderer, it will eject the things that you've told it need to be crafted into that item. So you can see that I've got patterns here. I input all of that stuff and I get the processor. Now, because this is going out of it into another machine, I then need to have an importer underneath to bring it back into the system. The importer is a couple of cores and a cable. Cable is more enriched iron, glass, redstone. So that will bring it back into the system. Now, if you have them pressed up against nothing, like these ones, things that you would just normally craft on a crafting table will be crafted and you don't need an importer. They're just crafted inside it. This is just like a crafting table. So I've got all of my patterns, the enriched iron. What else have I got? I've been making some more capacitors, redstone blocks, the speed upgrades and the stack upgrades. The speed and stack upgrades is for like crafting and for pulling things in and out of chests with the importer and exporters. What else have I been doing? The storage disks. I didn't actually go over them. You've got storage disks of multiple sizes, 1K being the smallest, which will store 1,000 items. I think it's 1,000 items. It might be 1,000 stacks. I'm pretty sure it's 1,000 items though. Then 4K, 16K, 64 is the largest, which is what I've gone with. I literally just started there, scraped everything together. Into fire. What is into fire? Relieve a blaze of its rod. Herpaderp. We've done that before. Got sidetracked. So that is very basically your beginning of auto crafting. So now that I've put those patterns and all in there, I can come in here. I'm sorting by quantity, so if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, I've got all the things that I have no quantities of, so I can craft them. And just say I want, can I make another storage block? This shows me everything that I need to make it. If I scroll down, it shows me what I'm missing too. I'm missing some glass and some silicon. Not so bad. I might actually make some more. There we go. So I will put that in there to get some silicon and put that in there to get some glass. And then I'll make another disc. Now, anything that you've got auto crafting so that you can fault find your system. If you've got anything clogged up, you'll see crafting on the crafting monitor. So if you're sitting there forever waiting on something, it'll tell you what you're missing and you can solve the problem. Now, I've also got a ridiculous amount of cobblestone. I had 60,000 of it before. So, and that filled up my drives. So I had to empty out my drives. So what I've done is put a cable over here. I've got an exporter. Now I've told it I want to export cobblestone and I want this to only work when it's receiving a redstone signal. And that's over a trash can. So I'm literally just voiding cobblestone whenever that gets a redstone signal. This at the back of it is a detector. I've told it to detect cobblestone in the system. And I'm detecting 20,000 of it. And I've got emit a redstone signal when above that amount. So now, whenever I've got more than 20,000 cobblestone, that little ball is lit up. It will then give that a redstone signal, and then that's just chucking out cobblestone into the trash can. So we are literally just voiding it all away, and voila, job done. Now, the pretty much last thing that I've been up to was our quarry. I put more of the drawers in to try and create big drawer storage over there, and found out that that was just failing miserably. Even with quite a large drawer system, I was filling it up in no time flat. Just way too much cobblestone. So I created an Enderlink chest, and I actually was pumping it into the RF tools storage first, and then filled that up, which is what prompted all of this. And was just bringing it over here that way and putting it into the system. The second problem that I had with the storage was we were just using the capacitor, which I'm just chucking in here, charging, running back, getting a short burst out of the quarry, then I'm having to come back, charge it up again, go back again. Awful. Utterly, utterly awful. So we need wireless power. We need to be able to get power from here all the way over in the distance to where we set up the quarry on the edge of the ocean. So I've been looking through this, and there's nothing that I'm used to. There's no tesseracts or anything that I've played in previous versions. But I did find the Dimension Transceiver from Ender.io. I've not actually used this before playing this mod pack, but it requires an Ender resonator, some electrical steel, fused quartz, and Ender crystal, and an octadic capacitor. So for the Ender resonator, more Enderman head, Solarium, silicon, vibrant alloy. I think we should have all of that. So an Enderman head, vibrant alloy. Was it 1 or 2? 1. You can go back in the system. An octadic capacitor. Ooh. I need 2 of them. Alright. Alright, this is going to be more expensive than I thought. 2 of them, and Solarium. 2 of them. I'm pressing the middle mouse button, by the way, to just pull out one item at a time. I could do the same with the RF tools, but I didn't actually know that. Oh, actually, no, the RF tools was shift click and it pulled out one. My apologies. There we go. And that will get me that resonator. Octadic capacitor. Okay. So I want vibrant. No, energetic, sorry. So let's just, not that many. Let's go 6. 6 is good. 6 ender pearls. 1 too many. There we go. More silicon. Chuck that back in the system. I will set it up so that it automatically goes back into the system at some point. Rather soon, I think, actually. So start. More silicon missing. 89 of it. That's a lot of silicon. So I'm actually going to need 2 stacks of it. There we go. Actually, it was still some crafting, wasn't it? There we go. And this is such a brilliant system. I like this system. So I'm going to need 2 double layered, which means I need 2 of the basic per one. So I'm going to need 4 basic ones. 2. So gold.
Well, why is your head here? Your head is just floating in the nether.
My head is floating in the nether. Okay, if you say so. I have no idea why my head is floating in the nether. Alright, try that again. How many did I make? 2. I need 4. I think I need 4. I've been playing quite a while now trying to sort out how this works, so I'm hoping I can still count at the moment. Probably not. Wouldn't surprise me. I'm not good at thinking. Glowstone. Block of glowstone. Brilliant. There we go. Octadic capacitor. Chuck that back in the system. It doesn't use your inventory as nicely as what the RF Tools one did, though. The RF Tools one seemed to recognize your entire inventory quite nicely, whereas this doesn't seem to recognize it as well. It'll pull enough for one craft out of your inventory, but it doesn't seem to like pulling more than that. So just getting that fused glass. There we go. Chuck that back in the system. Electrical steel. I can't even remember how to make that, even though I've made it a million times. Yeah. Okay, silicon, coal dust, and iron. So let's just make 4 pieces of it, that'll do. Coal dust. Pulverized charcoal. Must be this one. 4. And iron. There we go. There we go. I really like how quick that is. I'm just very disappointed it's not always like a 1-to-1 ratio. It's a chance of getting silicon. I'm using flint at the moment as sort of like a bonus. Dark steel balls. Inco was using before, which seemed to be better. But we just have heaps of flint, so I've just been using that. Right. So we'll get our electrical steel. Oops, wrong one. Resonator's done. So there we go. Oops. So that just leaves one last thing. The crystal in the center. The ender crystal, which requires a soul vial with enderman in it. Well, thankfully we have an enderman spawner. And a vibrant crystal. We've done vibrant crystals before. Do I have enough stuff for the vibrant crystal? I do. Yeah, I've done this before. So let's hope I can do it again. There we go. Turn on the enderman. Gonna have to set up, like, turn this into... You can make an ethereal version of it. Which I'm not sure is a thing anymore. Here we go. Got our enderman. I'm sure it was called ethereal. Dark glass. Ethereal dark glass. Which allowed you to walk through it, but mobs couldn't. Ineffable. Ineffable? That must be it, I reckon. It used to be called ethereal. Which is just dark glass and a moonstone. Diamond. Lunar reactive. Resonator. We don't have one of them yet. We haven't gotten very much of extra utilities done yet. But another use for our soul binder. Chuck that in there. Chuck our enderman in there. Plus 4 levels. Oh, I have 4 levels. Well, it's going to be reasonably quickly. I still need to make a recipe that when I craft the capacitors to make these faster. And voila. Ender crystal. Chuck him in there. And we have a dimensional transceiver. Voila. We have wireless power. Now, I have already got one back here. Took me a while to figure out how these work, actually. You can send items with these as well. Looks like there's a filter on it. I don't know how that works. These are your channels. So I made base power out. I selected on the configuration options that we were going to have an output there into this. So we're sending power out, and then at the other end we have to place it down, select power, and then go receive. That's for items, I assume, or I'm not really sure. I haven't really worked on these too much yet. I'm guessing that's items, and that's probably liquids. I would assume is how it works, because I'm pretty sure you can send items, liquids, and power through these. Same as you could a Tesseract in older Minecraft. So, the other one of these needs to be set up to our quarry with an ender chest, which I've already done. Enderlink chest, quarry, Tesseract. Now, I put this little capacitor in here and I set its max output to 500. Because when I just put that straight there onto this, that capacitor back in the base just went no more power. So 500 is a supportable amount of power. I flick this lever, takes a while to start up, and then whoomp. We have massive amounts of resources again coming in. It will run off of its stored power, 10 million RF for a little while. More than a little while, lasts a bit of time actually. And then it just moseys along quite slowly. So I'll turn it, actually that can, no, I'll turn it off. I don't need it on. So I will place him down here and get this. Wow, that was lucky. I nearly lost the builder. Die. Seriously? How rude. You're interrupting my video. Oh, wow. And we've just gone massively over time, I've noticed. I did not notice that at all. So I will just show you how to hook this up. Base power. Actually, there we go. Base power. Receive. Dump. I'm guessing you could probably even have multiple sources if you had multiple different ones coming together. I don't see why that would be a thing. And there we are. It's starting to charge. So I've already gone ridiculously over my 20-minute time just trying to explain everything that I've been doing that I really should have recorded, but I just sort of got a little bit carried away because I didn't know how any of it worked. So I'm hoping my brief overlay of how the whole system will be enough for you, but we will be using this a lot. So hopefully I can catch you all up on how it all works properly. I'm going to do auto processing very shortly and probably in the next episode, and I'll cover that with you on how I'm going to turn all of our like raw ores, gold ore, all the way into ingots automatically. But as always, have a nice day. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and thanks for watching.